Welcome to the So Fancy YouTube channel. Today we are going to create split monograms, both out of an SVG design and also from just plain text. So let's get started. The first thing you want to do is open up your canvas so that you're in a brand new project and click on text. I am going to use the letter S. And let's move that up here on our canvas, resize it to about a little over 6 inches. Okay, so a split monogram is where the center of the design is removed and you have two lines that create the top portion and the bottom portion, so that in the center you can write your text or message. So what we want to do is, after we have the initial that we'd like to use, um, I'm, I'm using the Gumption font, which is one of my favorite fonts. Um, it is just a little bit quirky, but it also is a thicker font, so it looks great as a monogram. You can add, more designs to it if you'd like, but we're going to just do a simple split monogram design today. And you can find this font in the So Fancy Workout Bundle 2.0 on the website, and I will leave a link for that at the bottom so that you can access it if you'd like. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is grab a shape. I'm going to use a square, and that square needs to be a rectangle. So let's unlock it. Click on this little lock here in the bottom left-hand corner. I'm going to move it over a little bit, and I'm going to make it a lot thinner. So let's stretch out that rectangle that you'd like to use. And then once it's kind of the shape and size and the location that you think you'd like it, I like to center everything. So I will select all of my layers, which is both the rectangle and the initial, go up to align, and then do center horizontally. That moves everything correctly there. I like to also just click on center to see where it puts it, and I do like it there better than just horizontally. So once it is in place, and this is where you'd like the center part to be in your initial, make sure that both layers are selected, and you're going to go down here to slice, click the slice tool, and you will see that it has created 4 layers from the slice. This one here, which is missing the center portion, is the one I'd like to keep. So I'm going to select all of these other layers and delete them. And now you will see that you're just left with the top and the bottom part of the design. So now let's grab another shape. We're going to grab a square again. And let's move that over here and unlock it again. And this one is going to create that little thin border. So I'm going to make it, oh, it's very, very tiny, like 0.111 inch. That sounds good. Okay. So once you have that there, you want to make sure that this part of it is touching. See where these two meet? You want them to overlap. You don't want a gap there because we're going to attach all of this together. Okay, so once you have the bar in place, then you want to duplicate it because we need a bottom one. And let's do the same thing. Let's kind of put those exactly in the same place. Make sure it's touching the bottom part of the S here. Okay, so once it's kind of where you think it should be, select all of the layers again. Go up to align, do center horizontally. That move the S over a little bit, so now everything here is centered. And these are touching, this one's touching, so we're good to go. So now what you want to do is click the weld tool, which is down here in the bottom right hand corner. It is going to weld everything together. So everything will now be the same color. So I'm going to just change this to, let's do this dark purple color for right now. Okay, so once you have this design, so you can move it around freely, we can make it larger, we can make it smaller. I'm going to keep it here around 10.5 inches tall. Then I want to go back to my text because I'm going to add a word here in the middle. So I'm still going to use the Gumption font because I want it to go with the initial. And I am going to I'm going to use all caps with this, and I'm going to put Smith. So let's grab, let's grab Smith here and bring that to the center. And let's resize it so that it is the correct size for inside of my split monogram. Okay, sometimes I like them to touch and then I can cut it all together, but this one I want it to be free of the initial, so I do not want the H to touch either of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of it once I kind of have it where I'd like it to be, click on Align, click again on Center Horizontally. Okay, so it then put it in the center of the design. Okay, so now if I clicked on Make It, I will show you, it would sort these into two different mats, but I am not going to cut this in two different colors. So what I would like to do is cancel that, come back to my design, select all of it, and then click Attach. Okay, so now these two are separate. You could come back and take the Smith out and just have the S, but when I click on Make It, you will see that it is all attached in on the same mat, which is how I would like to cut and weed this vinyl design. Okay, so that is basically how you create a single initial or double, and you can use any kind of text you like, split it down the center, add another word in the middle. The possibilities are endless. So now that I have this project finished, I would like to show you also how to take an SVG design that I've uploaded into Cricut Design Space and to split that as well. So it's basically the same technique, but we are going to just hide this layer for now. Go to Upload. I have this buck and doe image that I would like to use. I actually would only like to use the buck. These awesome designs are in the fall and winter decor bundle, and there are so many things that you can make for your house for this fall and winter. So I encourage you to check out that link too. I'll put that below the video. But I do not want the doe. I'm going to just use the buck. So let's go over here to the doe and turn her off. And now we just have the buck by himself. So I'm going again to resize this. I'm going to make this one almost 12 inches tall. Okay, so now we have this. This is an SVG file. It is not a PNG or a JPEG. You'd want to convert it first before you go and do this technique. So it's basically the same. We're going to grab a shape. I'm going to grab the square again, and I am not sure exactly where I'm going to place this yet. So let's unlock the square so we can turn it into a rectangle. I do not want this to go beyond the antlers. So I'm going to just kind of eyeball it here, and I'm going to bring this part in. Because this antler is, closer to the left side, this right one kind of pushes over more. You could make this smaller if you wanted it more centered in the actual buck's head, but I want this centered in the whole design. So, okay, so now that I have the rectangle in the place that I think I would like to keep it, I'm going to select all of this, go up to Align, and again, center horizontally. So I was pretty close because it really didn't move it over too much. Okay, so once that is in place, I'm going to go down here again to the slice tool, and you will see that it has created these sections that I do not need. I want to keep the buck here that has the split in the middle, but these three I'm going to delete. Okay, so now, again, I'm going to grab a square shape, unlock it, turn it into a very, very thin line. I like that point 1 inch, so we'll leave it at that. Make sure it is touching again the design so there's no gap. Let's bring that out so it's a little bit longer. Okay, so now again I would like to actually let's duplicate it first. Take that rectangle that you created, duplicate that, put the second piece right onto the bottom part of the buck. Okay, now I kind of have them in the place where I'd like to keep them. So I'm going to select all of my layers again, go to align, center horizontally. It moved it just a hair. While it is all selected, go down here to weld, and it will weld those lines into the buck top and bottom. Okay, so now I would like to change this just so you can see. So it's green. And now I can go down here and add some text. And I will put, actually I want to do it all in caps. I just think it looks better that way. All right, let's move this in here. And this one, I want to show you that I am going to attach the letters to the design. So there will be no gap, and these will all connect to the split monogram. All right, I'm going to adjust the spacing in between the letters a little bit more. So let's go to 0.8. Okay, so see how we have the M is touching the top and the bottom? Maybe it needs a hair more to the bottom so the I is touching too. Okay, this looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to select everything, align it again horizontally, centered, and it looks like all of the letters are touching the buck. I want to try to move it down just a hair without the R overhanging. Okay, let me align that again. Center horizontally. Okay, so now this time I do not want the letters to cut out separate. I want them to be part of this design. So I'm going to select all of it, and then I'm going to weld those together. Okay, so this is what happens when you weld it. So now when we cut it out, see, I don't like how the eye isn't touching. So let's go back. You can use this arrow up here to go back to the last previous step. I would like to unlock this just a little bit so I can bring that eye down. And it looks like it's just this R that is not. Okay, so we're going to just attach it. And there's going to be just a little bit of a gap there. Okay, so let's again take this and align it horizontally and click weld. And okay, that is better. So everything is touching. There is just a little bit of an overhang here and a little bit of an issue here with the M, but it is attached, so it should be okay. I would probably change the letter R individually to create less of a little tiny bump out right here, but we are for tutorial purposes, I will just show you what it looks like when we go to make it. It is going to cut out everything as one piece instead of having the letters separate. That way when you weed it, you can just take the entire design and then adhere it to whatever material you're going to use. Okay, so that is the basics of creating a split monogram design. If you would like to see the step-by-steps, you can look at our blog post, which will be up today as well. And I hope this helped you. If you have any questions, just leave them below, and we will try to answer those as soon as we possibly can. All right, thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.